Unlike the Army, the Air Force turns to civilian artists for help documenting its people and missions. Nick Masura has been donating his time and skills as an artist to the Air Force art program since 1994, and his travels have included visits to Afghanistan and Iraq.
I did 3 trips to Iraq, and this is from the first trip. These 4 are landscapes from the area around Talil. And I was trying to show the dusty conditions. It's almost a surreal landscape when you're there.
Nick's artist skills also benefit the Air Force on a full-time basis. He's on the staff of the Services Graphics Department at the Pentagon, a great place to be for an artist who paints military subjects.
A lot of times I start comparing myself, my work, to the really great portraits, and I think, oh, I don't really belong here, but it's a real kick just to walk through the halls and take some time out during the day and look at various paintings. I love it.
Meanwhile, across the Potomac at Washington Navy Yard, Morgan Wilbur puts in his 40-hour work week as art director for the Navy's oldest publication, Navy Aviation News. It's a subject he's well qualified for after spending 20 years as an air crewman in the Navy Reserves.
I enjoyed that immensely, and when I retired, I kind of figured, well, that part is over with.
Then, in 1997, he got the chance to combine his loves for the fine arts and the Navy as an artist for the Navy's art program.
And now, I get to use some of the knowledge I gained in the reserves to help me do a better job.
Martin isn't paid for his time or finished works. Like the Air Force, the Navy can only pay for a civilian artist's food, lodging, and transportation. But Martin says the experience is how he benefits.
And when you experience it, at least for me, it comes out and it makes for better artwork. I got the idea for this painting when I was standing on the deck of the John C. Stennis. There aren't as many photographs of that kind of operation, so that's one of the reasons I like night paintings. What I'm doing now is laying in the highlights for the stars. Some of the stars are going to be brighter than others, but oil paint is so, I mean, you can do so much with it.
Imagine there's a lot to see, you can't take it all in.
Just a short walk away at the Navy Gallery, some of Martin's finished works are on display today in a combined Navy-Marine Corps exhibition.
As you can see, we have our current exhibit. Here we have a painting I did, it's what I witnessed at Fleet Hospital 3 during OAF 1 in 2003. This is a Navy field hospital.
Observing medical operations in Iraq left a lasting impression.
It changed my life because I wasn't prepared to see all those things and experience what they do. And that's why I'm going to be doing paintings of our Navy medical people for as long as I can.
It's not just Navy, you also have other parts of military services here in this collection, right?
Yep, there are 2 Navy artists, myself and a Navy commander, and 2 Marine Corps artists.
This work is a favorite of Marine Corps artist Sergeant Chris Battles.
Just because of how fun it was to paint, and also what it portrays. It portrays a slice of life in a totally exotic environment. It just has a lot of, artistically has a lot of fun and challenging things in it, so that's my favorite piece as far as painting is concerned.
Sergeant Battles is one of 2 artists for the Marine Corps, a job he's been doing since returning to the Corps in 2006.
I was a reservist from '86 to '96, and I was everything from a computer operator to a public affairs journalist. I was a chaplain's assistant for a while, and it was all in Kansas City, Missouri.
And then all these shapes of little mortar rounds.
The Corps' other artist, Chief Warrant Officer II Michael Fay's history with the Marines goes back to 1975.
I've experienced the Marine Corps from the boredom of barracks duty in McAllister, Oklahoma, out in the land of tumbleweeds, and I've experienced combat in Iraq, out with Marines, living under the stars and sleeping on the ground.
And though he mentions it so casually, Chief Warrant Officer Fay's experience in combat includes everything that word implies.
On November 16, 2005, I was with Fox Company's 2nd Battalion, 1st Marine Regiment in Operation Steel Curtain. This was when Al-Anbar province was called the Wild West. The Marines didn't call it Al-Anbar, they just called it the Wild West. And about 8 o'clock in the morning, all hell broke loose. 8:15, and the firefight has been going on now for about 5 minutes. 1 minute it's, you know, you're watching chickens cluck and hearing dogs bark, and the next it's just, you know, it's war.
We're definitely in now. We've got many wounded. Poor McLaughlin is dead. I'm sitting here by his body.
It was a pretty horrific scene. There were 11 wounded, 5 or 6 KIA'd Marines. It was my first real experience with death that close. You know, and those are things that you know you know, I guess stick to your soul forever. And as an artist, how can you do that without it becoming kitsch, you know, without it becoming, you know, soap opera like?
Today, Chief Warrant Officer Fay is still working on art in remembrance of that 2005 firefight.
For myself, working on it it's not painful for me. I think in many ways I'm just a beneficiary of both the experience, but living in an era where, you know, you're encouraged to not only talk about it, but deal with it and do something positive with it. You know, turn lemons into lemonade.
One example of that effort, this painting of then Lance Corporal Joshua Moy.
Moy is an interesting character. He's one of those kids who, it's sort of like break it, you know, like in a little case, in case of war, break.
Moy is credited with saving the lives of 10 fellow Marines at great risk to his own.
And I talked to Moy about a month later, and he was, you know, why didn't I get killed? You know, why me?
In January 2009, Moy was awarded the Navy Cross for his actions. Sergeant Battles has also deployed to Iraq twice. Today, he's working on portraits from his trip covering the historic deployment of the first Ospreys to Iraq.
One of the main rules they have is it must be from your own experience, and it must be from your own sketches or your photographs. It has to be authentically your experience. All of it's figurative. We focus on the people, and it's the personal story that's more interesting. So it is more exciting artistically painting people and life.
If you try to take it to the far right or the far left, you do the subject a disservice.
Ultimately, Chief Warrant Officer Fay says combat art tells the story of what it means to serve, from the most mundane activities to the greatest sacrifice.
When you see a painting, you're really looking at slowed vision, and you're looking at perhaps an entire day, you know, through the kind of the alchemy of art, refined down to one moment.
Combat art is a tradition that covers the entirety of our military history. Fine art produced by both highly celebrated and relatively unknown artists, military and civilian, men and women. Their dedication to telling the stories of military men and women in uniform through the years is a gift. Each work of art, a window in time. I'm Tech Sergeant Ryan Hoke. Thanks for joining us. This has been Recon.